Welcome back, Belito, and thank you for staying tuned. I'm excited, as always, to welcome the People's Accountant, Lynette Pretorius. How's it?
Good morning, good morning.
Good. How are you doing? Always bubbly, always fresh in the mornings?
Yeah, I can't believe it's so nice and humid already. It's going to be a cracker of a day.
Durban's being Durban, no
So
doubt.
true, yes.
Great. So, Lynette, we've got some important things to talk about today. Deadlines.
Yeah, and there's actually quite a big one coming up next week, Tuesday. It's the 23rd of November. It is also the due date for submissions of personal income tax for 2021, and more specifically our non-provisional taxpayers. So those are mainly the employees, people that don't have additional streams of income like rentals and are self-employed. So it's quite a big bulk of our
The
tax
tax-paying
submissions.
population.
Yes, yes. So they have until next week, Tuesday, to get their tax affairs in order. The
And
problem
people would have been receiving SMSs, I believe, now for this.
Yeah.
And that could cause some stress for people that aren't too clued up as to what they should do. What is the process?
Yeah, so SARS has been sending out SMSs, and a lot of people are getting an SMS and going, oh, it's a scam. It's not a scam, please action the SMS. It is a notice that you've been selected for auto-assessment, and you need to do something about it, please. Don't ignore it, please, don't ignore it. The first thing is SARS uses third-party data to actually put everything about you in your tax return. So they pull your information from your RP5, from your RA, and all of these, and they actually do an auto-assessment on you. If you do not accept it, or if you don't edit it, okay, SARS will issue you an original assessment on the 24th of November. The problem there is it is deemed the final assessment, and you can't object to that assessment. You can only file a correction, and you have to do that within 40 days. So normally an assessment you could have a window of 3 years to object to something that's
there's
wrong.
some leeway.
Yeah, so 40 days, that's what you get.
Yeah. So that puts you under immense pressure if you haven't got your affairs in order yet.
Yeah, and then obviously you'll be penalized for late submission of an income tax return because you did not submit. And those penalties are now coming into full force for the 21 tax year.
And if you've never submitted before and you're stressed, how could you get clued up? Is there information online that can walk you through the process after you've received this SMS? Is there anywhere that you can go and seek guidance?
So yes, you can. So obviously you can come see us at the office, or you can call us or email us. But you can also use the SARS Mobi website. You can also go visit them in branch, or you can leave a telephone message and they will call you back. Obviously they're trying to move everybody to electronic filing. So e-filing is the go-to place. And even on e-filing, you'll see now that there's a little prompter that helps you file your income tax return if you need assistance. So they've made it very easy and simple, but I do urge people to not just accept the assessment. Please open it, look that all the information is in there. Make sure that you're declaring your cryptocurrencies that you've been playing with on the side.
In the market, yeah.
You know, make sure that you've done the best that you can on all sources of revenue. You know, people forget that they need to declare a sale of a house. Whether or not you're going to pay tax, you need to declare. So please
And does that apply to sale of other assets as well, like sale of a vehicle or sale of any major kind of asset that you have?
So personal use assets, so like my car, for argument's sake, will not go into my tax return. But if I had 3 or 4 cars, then it's not my personal use asset anymore.
Okay.
Then it becomes a capital gain and a capital loss. So please speak to your accountant or your tax practitioner. And then just a word of warning to the public. Recently there was a person filing returns and I think he got 49 years in jail now
Oh, wow.
because he defrauded the public with their refunds and wrong submissions, and it was a cluster. So SARS has come out to please advise the public that if you're not going to SARS, please seek the help of a professional tax practitioner.
An accredited
Yes,
professional tax
please.
practitioner.
It's so important because ultimately the taxpayer is responsible for whatever goes into that return, right?
At the end of the day, whether you have a representative or not, you are personally liable.
Yes, but then also the tax practitioner has to be educated to know what is the correct thing to do. So please, you don't want to be defrauded by a tax practitioner, which
And who's
seems to have
liable?
happened.
Who is liable in that situation? Would it be the practitioner or you personally or both?
Yeah, no, so it's both, but most of these unregistered people don't have bodies that stand behind them. So in our cases, all the big tax practitioner professional bodies have PI insurance and all of those things. So there's that body that will then go and assist the taxpayer if a tax practitioner didn't do their job correctly. So at least if you're using a recognized professional, there is that backup to help you out of the
There's
drain.
a foundation.
Yeah.
And you spoke about SARS using third-party information, such as RAs and medical aids and all of that. If you open up your return and notice that that is not there, what is the process to follow? Or would that even happen?
Yeah, no, it does happen. Obviously, sometimes there's a link broken between, or there's not a refresh in the data, so it does happen. So the easiest bit then is to literally open your return. You go and edit the return. You fill in the information. It is rather intuitive. Number of people on the medical aid. You obviously have your certificate. Fill in that information across. And then chances are that SARS will request a review of the documents. You will then have to upload those documents into e-filing or submit it via their electronic channels.
And if you're not a fan of using electronic and maybe old school and like doing the face-to-face kind of touch, would you recommend going into the SARS office and making an appointment, or would you recommend rather coming to a professional like yourself? What would be easier?
Well, I actually had a lady that walked away from SARS yesterday because it was a madhouse.
Yes, we've all been there before.
I think everybody leaves it to just that last week, which is just crazy. So unless you're willing to spend a day or two in the queues, SARS would be your best bet. But I would suggest seek an accountant. They can quickly sort out your taxes.
And what is the process of booking at SARS? Do you do a phone-in book, or do you just arrive into the madhouse and wait it out?
Yeah, so currently for a SARS branch visit, it is show up and stand in the queue. So it's been a little bit crazy.
Some fun times in there. Fantastic. And are there any things that you could claim liability on or be liable for omitting on your returns? So if you willingly say, hey, I don't want to declare this, and you omit that, are there repercussions for this?
Of course there is. Yes, of course, of course. So obviously there's the understatement penalty. SARS can levy up to 200% income tax penalty for the amount that they not receiving. Do you know what I mean? But it's really important to understand that compliance within South Africa has not been the greatest. I feel that over the last, let's say, 10 years, what we've seen in government happening, it's filtered down and people are going, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. It's important for us to become tax compliant. It's important for us to play our role in making sure that our tax affairs are in order. We can't stand here and shout things aren't working when we're not working.
When you are part of the problem.
Yeah,
that's it.
Right.
Lynette, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate the guidance and the knowledge. And Polito, I'm sure you know the only two things that are for sure in this world are death and tax. So do the right thing, reach out to the right people if you don't know what you're doing, and make it happen. Be part of the solution and not the problem. We'll catch you after this short break.